Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the 9th Annual Model United Nations Conference hosted by Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service in Qatar. The theme of our conference this year is Shifting Power Dynamics in a Globalized World. Given the transformative and constantly changing forces of globalization, our understanding of power within this realm must be fluid and dynamic to be able to absorb and account for fluctuations in the relative capacity of actors in the international arena. Professor Robert Dahl tries to encapsulate this concept by explaining that A has power over B to the extent that he can get B to do something that B would not otherwise do. This brings to mind concepts such as authority, legitimacy, and domination, because they're all at play here. Power is multifaceted and manifests itself in so many different ways. Don't get caught up in trying to measure it or clearly define it, because that would be counterproductive. Power exists within a web of relationships. Think of it as a feeling or an ongoing and constantly changing experience. If you feel that your country is in a relatively weaker position than another, that doesn't mean that you just give up on your political goals. You should try to further them in any way possible. This can be done through alliances and convincing more powerful nations to champion your cause. While material resources and military capability can be indicative of power or a lack thereof, those who do not have the same pool of resources should try to exercise their influence in different ways. There is also a soft element to power, where you can point to your diplomatic efforts, your history, or cultural richness. So think about how even as a relatively weaker state, you can still leverage power and change or realign existing relationships of dominance. In the words of Trygve Lie, the United Nations First Secretary General, the United Nations is no stronger than the collective will of the nations that support it. Of itself, it can do nothing. It is a machinery through which the nations can cooperate. It can be used and developed, or it can be discarded and broken. I hope over the next few days you can establish and maintain a collective will that will help you make positive changes in each of your respective committees. I challenge you to stay aware of the shifting power dynamics between you and your fellow delegates, so that you can strategically position yourself in a way which will allow you to voice and address your delegation's concerns. I hope that you are able to engage with each other in stimulating debates which nurture a spirit of mutual understanding, compromise, and respect. I wish you the best of luck. And now I would like to turn your attention to the screen on the stage, where we will show you a video about Georgetown University in Qatar. Thank you.
My choice of Georgetown was really the people that drew me in.
Georgetown doesn't just teach you things, it teaches you to love what you do, to love learning, to really engage with the world in a very special way.
Georgetown was a wonderful experience because it allowed me the right environment to thrive about an issue that I'm passionate about.
I think the key things that Georgetown gives you is excellency, a family, a unique experience, tolerance, and diversity.
The curriculum allowed me to engage and follow my passions, research and look for the topics that I wanted to look after. And the great thing about it was they let me choose what I wanted to look into.
Georgetown's degree, just given the flexibility that you have, really helps you fine-tune what it is that you're looking for to do. It gives you a skill set that is very wide and it's very across the board, and so you can end up in a place where you didn't think you'd be.
Georgetown allowed me to take all my education and create the image that I want to portray in the job market. See what it is that I like, but as well sort of find out where can I fit in this puzzle of society? Where can my jigsaw fit in? And where can I be helpful to my country, being a Qatari, but as a citizen of the world, you know? What can I do that can really bring about something good?
What you learn at university is applicable to the real world in terms of what you do every day. So a key to what I do now, today, is structuring my research in a way that is easily understandable for many people. And what Georgetown really helped me nurture is my ability to structure whatever I believe is important, whatever I find, and present that in a very easy manner for people to understand.
The skills that Georgetown taught me are relevant here because I am able to analyze things. I am able to take data and put it to use. I am able to talk to people of all backgrounds and establish that commonality, which is so important to, further a relationship and then gain trust.
My education at Georgetown has helped me tremendously. From everything in terms of content, of what goes into the museum, and also organizational structures and thinking about things in a holistic approach. I really reach into that knowledge and that experience that I had at Georgetown to fulfill a lot of the projects that I have on my table.
I'm at the LSE, and it's fascinating to me because even at a school like this, the Georgetown education still is special. I was talking to a couple of colleagues who were telling me, oh, I studied history, so I'm not quite sure how to do a philosophy paper. And that's what's so great about Georgetown. I've taken courses in philosophy, I've taken courses in history, I've taken courses in government, and sort of not just courses in those fields, but found the connection in that. And so it's really this interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, this way of looking at things from multiple facets.
There are many unique things about Georgetown and many things that helped me do my job better. Biggest factor was the curriculum itself. I had to look at many research projects, I had to look into a lot of different fields and go through a lot of information to produce the various papers and top topics I had to do. And so now I developed these skills, the skill to effectively disseminate a large amount of information in a short period of time and make it into a coherent paper, really, to share it with my clients.
It's methods, it's a certain intuition of how to analyze things, how to communicate to people on the other side. All these sort of skills that really have nothing to do with a hard fact you could research somewhere, but rather with, okay, I have something here, I have a problem, how do I approach it?
The great thing about Georgetown is it doesn't just emphasize on textbooks and the readings and the homework assignments that you do in the classroom, but it focuses also on the education of the whole person outside the classroom. Because of the fact that it was so diverse, you learn a little bit of everything, and it doesn't teach you what to think, but how to think. Those experiences really helped form how I analyze and break down things today.
I think my Georgetown experience has given me courage to speak up when I think that what's being said is not necessarily correct. It's given me a sense of humor, which was better than what I came in with. And it's given me that hunger to, push for more and learn for more and want more out of my education.
The spirit of knowledge, I would say, this seeking knowledge, I think. Ever since I've graduated from Georgetown, I've always wanted to better myself, and I've been able to do so because Georgetown has helped me own my skills in taking information in analyzing information, in doing research, and really in processing lots of data all at one point.
I think Georgetown really gave us confidence. I mean, being part of such a prestigious institution that has, centuries of existence and tradition, and seeing all the great figures that graduated from that university, just being part of that community, you feel stronger. You feel like your shoulders are wide enough to sustain a lot of pressure and to go out there and confront very important people because you're part of that community.
I think Georgetown awakens you. It almost feels like your whole life you've been sleeping, and then suddenly you meet Georgetown and life just takes on a whole new meaning.
I'm Amir Majer, professional football player, account executive for Fast Track Agency.
My name is Basil Mahfouz. I work as a public relations consultant here in Doha.
I am Hayan Naomi. I'm a graduate student of Masters of International Law in the Sorbonne.
I'm William Cha. I'm currently a consultant at PricewaterhouseCoopers Qatar, PwC, as a consultant for the advisory team.
My name is Vincent van Houten. I'm a human resource manager for Deutsche Bahn International.
My name is Fatima Ramadan Sams, and I work for Teach for Qatar.
My name is Ali Al-Ansari. I work at Shell as the Media Relations Manager.
My name is Akash Jayaprakash. I currently work in Qatar Foundation as a migrant worker welfare specialist.
I am Fahad Al-Turki. I am currently a curator at Mishra Museum Heritage Houses.
After you graduate, in every sense of the word, you're still part of this bigger family.
Once a Hoya, always a Hoya.
Saxa. Once a Hoya, always a Hoya. It's in the heart, it's in the soul.
Hoya Saxa.
We hope you enjoyed that short video about Georgetown. Now, please join me in welcoming to the stage the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs at Georgetown University, School of Foreign Service in Qatar, Dean Dr. Daniel Stoll. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Al-Dafa, distinguished members of the Diplomatic Corps, honored guests, delegates. On behalf of Dr. Geert Nenneman, Dean of the School of Foreign Service here in Doha, Qatar, I welcome you to this, the 9th Annual Model UN Conference sponsored by Georgetown in Doha, Qatar. We are delighted to have you join us for what promises to be a challenging, exciting, at times exhausting, but always stimulating conference that will force you to grapple with some of the most pressing issues confronting the international system today. Issues such as the situation in Western Sahara and Morocco, North-South divisions, state building in the Arab League states, and the economic crisis in the European Union. These issues, in addition to many others, will dominate your discussions over the next few days. Discussions that, if past Model UN is any precedent, will be spirited, sometimes impassioned, and ideally shaped by rigorous analysis and informed and deep study of the issues at hand. Georgetown hosts this conference every year because we believe it's one of the best ways to prepare students for the many careers dealing with international relations today. Careers in diplomacy, business, finance, the NGO community, multilateral organizations, all these will in some ways touch upon and deal with the problems you are confronting this weekend. More importantly, conferences like this should give you a sense of the challenges confronting policy leaders and policymakers when attempting to resolve these problems in real life, and the skills needed to achieve those solutions. For now, we must, however, get back to the matter at hand, the opening of this conference. Again, welcome to Doha, to Georgetown University, and what promises to be a remarkable conference. Please now welcome the President of the Press Committee, Nettle de Jong, who will read the list of participating schools in this year's United Nations Conference. Nettle?
Thank you, Dr. Daniel Stoll. Hello, my name is Natalie de Jong. I'm a member of the School of Foreign Service class of 2015. I will now recognize all of the schools participating in the 9th Annual Georgetown Model United Nations Conference. When your school's name is called, we ask that you stand up and remain standing. Kindly hold all your applause until all the schools have been called. Qatar, Academic Bridge Program. El Bayan Preparatory School for Girls. El Iman Independent Secondary School for Girls. El Maha Academy for Girls. El Wakra Independent Secondary School for Girls. American Academy School. Amna bin Wahab Independent Secondary School for Girls. Aspire Academy. Al-Saj Academy. Cambridge International School for Girls. Community College of Qatar. Doha Academy's Secondary School for Girls. Doha College. DPS Modern Indian School. Gulf English School. International School of London in Qatar. MES Indian School, Middle East International School, Newton International School, Philippine School Doha, Qatar Educational Complex, the Cambridge School Doha, the Lebanese School of Qatar, Afghanistan, International School of Kabul, Bahrain, Abdurrahman Kanu International School, Brazil, Pan American School of Bahia, China, Beijing National Day School, Western Academy of Beijing, Czech Republic, International School of Prague, Egypt, Modern Education American School, Ethiopia, International Community School of Addis Ababa, Greece, American Community School, Athens, India, Bloom Public School, American Embassy School of New Delhi, Indonesia, Global Jaya International School, Jordan, the Baptist School of Amman, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, International Program School, Al Khobar, Kuwait, New English School, Lebanon, the American Community School at Beirut, Brahmana High School, Sajes High School, Malaysia, Fairview International School, Oman, Aziz bin Qais International School of Muscat, the American International School of Muscat, Pakistan, International School of Islamabad, South Africa, African Leadership Academy, Switzerland, International School of Geneva, United Nations Campus, Taiwan, Taipei American School, Tanzania, Aga Khan Mazema Secondary School, Turkey, ITU GVO Ekrem Elgin Khan High School, United Arab Emirates, Al Ain English School, Jumeirah College, Raha International School, the Winchester School of Jebel Ali, Uganda, Kampala International School, United States of America, Collegiate School, North Mount Hermon School, Zambia, International School of Lusaka. Ladies and gentlemen, the participants of the 2014 Model United Nations Conference. Now please remain standing for the recitation of the Model United Nations Honor Pledge, led by Georgetown Junior Omar Hashem.
Thank you, Natalie. Delegates, please turn to the Georgetown University Model United Nations Honor Pledge on page 2 of your program. Delegates, may you please repeat after me. During this conference, I will do my best to find out as much as I can about the country or organization I am representing. I will converse with my peers from countries around the world in a civilized and respectful manner, despite multi-party and often heated debates. I will try to remain calm and composed. I will respect the fact that people hailing from different cultures have differing conceptions of the norms of social interactions. I will not only adapt to that, but take it as an opportunity to enhance my intercultural understanding. Thank you. You may please be seated. Now, delivering our student address is Muhammad Khalil Harb, member of the SFS-Q class of 2014 and Georgetown Model United Nations Secretary General. Please join me in welcoming him.
Thank you, Omar. Distinguished guests, welcome to the 9th Annual Georgetown Model United Nations Conference. You're home for the next 4 years. My name is Muhammad Khalil Harb, the Secretary General for this year's conference, and your main liaison for all student-related issues. I will introduce myself not just as an MUN addict, but also as someone who generally loves the institution of MUN. I have been active in the Georgetown MUN conference for all 4 years in every possible position, and this is sadly my last year partaking in it as a student. I originally come from Beirut, Lebanon, and I am a student who made the great choice of majoring in foreign service at Georgetown with a focus on culture and politics. Now enough about me. Let us talk about why you are here. You may think it is solely for MUN, but in reality you are here to engage in dialogue. In 1974, the influential Austrian philosopher Hans Kochler sent a letter to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, also known as UNESCO, asking for a dialogue between civilizations. I am sure Professor Kochler would be happy to see such a dialogue unfolding here, between delegates coming from different nations around the world that would harbors of different civilizations. See, conferences such as ours are not just about simulating world institutions and representing delegations. They provide a safe and nourishing space for students to engage in active conversation and bridging dialogue. In this space, you are given the opportunity to transform an idea in your mind into action, a hesitation in your heart into an affirmation, and an expression into a statement. Once you go forth and engage in dialogue, you begin the journey of acceptance. In this journey, you relinquish the part of you that negates the other, insisting on isolation, and begin accepting new thoughts, ideas, and contributions. Dialogue is built on accepting the other, on respecting the other, on engaging in new thoughts with the other, and most importantly, on accepting a mutually accepting and mature side of you. Coming from a divided country like Lebanon, I witness every day what the lack of dialogue and political egoism has done to the country. Caught in a state of loss and frenzy, dialogue is needed more than ever. See, when you refuse to engage in beneficial dialogue, you are refusing to accept your true self, a self that seeks to engage in conversation with others, fulfilling its need for exposure and transformation in the process. Now, some of you might contend and say that dialogue and the United Nations have not been succeeding in solving the crises and affairs of the world. We see the civil war continues to ravage Syria, the Palestinians and the Israelis constantly reaching a political stalemate in their negotiations, and the Ukrainians unable to come to dialogue on both sides. These all might look like negative or downtrodden events, but ask yourselves, would we be even talking about such negotiations if dialogue did not exist? Would we hear of Geneva I and Geneva II? Would we see international institutions opening themselves to be hubs of dialogue around the world? No, we would not. Dialogue is not just about reaching the positive. It is about enabling and convincing all sides to enter the process of conversing. We cannot set a time limit on dialogue. We can only wait for it and assist it in reaching the euphoric state of agreement. Most importantly, ask yourselves, if our world lacked dialogue, would the Syrians have been evacuated from besieged Homs most recently? Would the troubles have ended in Northern Ireland through the Good Friday Agreement? Would the superpowers of the world have reached an agreement to ease sanctions on Iran in exchange for capping the nuclear program? Would we have seen a pope that is engaged in dialogue with the world? No, we would not. Delegates, a world without dialogue is a world not yet set in motion. It is a world in a static state of individualism, in which groups are disconnected and antagonized. So take advantage of the opportunity you have here. You are not only at a university that encourages dialogue and intergroup cooperation, but also in a country known for hosting major mediations and dialogues between groups. Qatar has hosted and continues to host the Darfur peace talks between the Sudanese government and the opposition forces, and played an important role in ending and reaching the Doha Agreement, which ended an 18-month political deadlock in Lebanon. Thus, in this spirit of dialogue and mediation, look at each person in this room, not just as a model UNer, but also as a person who you will grow with through dialogue. In conclusion, I want to echo the words of the great American poet, Maya Angelou, who said, "I have learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Thus, use the dialogue to change how others feel about the situation, how they feel about you, and most importantly, how they feel about themselves. Talk, converse, and make an impact. Thank you and enjoy the conference. Now, delegates, I'm gladly going to introduce our special keynote speaker, His Excellency Ambassador Bader Omar Al-Dafa. Ambassador Al-Dafa is a distinguished diplomat who has served as Qatar's ambassador to the United States of America, Egypt, France, Spain, and Russia. He has also served as a non-resident ambassador in countries such as Finland, Greece, Latvia, and Switzerland. He was also formerly the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia, also known as SFS-Q, and is currently the Ambassador at Large and the Executive Director of the Global Dryland Alliance. In addition to his diplomatic experience, His Excellency Al-Dafa's career includes service with international non-governmental organizations. He supervised programs for building housing for families with limited income in Africa and participated in landmine removal programs in the Balkans. His Excellency Al-Dafa holds a master's degree in international public policy from Johns Hopkins University and a bachelor's degree in political science and economics from Western Michigan University in the United States. He is fluent in Arabic, English, and Spanish, and has been awarded the Ordre du Mérite from the Republic of France. Please join me in welcoming Ambassador Al-Dafa. Thank you.
I see my speech is not here. Thank you for that introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. It's really my pleasure to be here with you today. I would like to thank Georgetown University for inviting me to listen, learn, and participate in these Model United Nations proceedings. I am a big believer in the value of the United Nations, ability to address the complex issues we all face. I have seen the first hand of the process and the result that the UN can achieve. I have worked as Qatar ambassadors to many nations, where my role was to negotiate for Qatar interests. I have also worked as Under-Secretary General, Executive Secretary of SFS-Q, working to accommodate and address the need of different nations. So I have seen the many facets of what it takes to make United Nations work. The issues on today's agenda are important. They're important isn't because they are real or current. What makes them important is you. You are important for your development as a problem solver. Learning to solve difficult, real problems with people from different backgrounds and perspectives isn't easy. This is no small thing you are learning here. I encourage you to recognize that much of what you will learn here can't be taught. Look at your classmates as your professors. Achieving Millennium Development Goal wouldn't happen with a power representation. Meeting the goals require that crises in Mali, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, and Burma be addressed through thoughtful problem solving and negotiations. From a personal experience, I have to say that it was not an easy task to negotiate and convince over 18 countries to combine effort and join us in our initiative, the Global Dryland Alliance, sponsored by the State of Qatar. and aiming to reach food security and therefore contributing to world peace. As per Millennium Development Goals, we pledged to eradicate 50% of hunger and poverty by 2015. We are almost in the mid of 2014 and have not achieved 50% of our goal. My advice to government is to include youth in formal negotiation teams to better prepare the next generation, and that is you, to address world's problems. Now I'm a bit reluctant to bring this up. It is not something on my CV, but it is relevant to learn how to solve a problem with people from different backgrounds. You see, I'm a graduate from Johns Hopkins, and I observe that differences in my own house. Not only do I have to contend with my Georgetown OYA daughters, but also my son is also a George Washington alumni. So believe me, while we are one family, I know things can become difficult, particularly when it comes to such issues as which restaurant is best. So my tip to you is when you run into difficult negotiations is to do what I do. Close your eyes and silently remind yourself that even though you are different, we are still family. In closing, I hope you find opportunities to take what you learned here and apply it in the real world. There is a saying in a sport that I think is relevant. You play like you practice. So while Model UN is a practice, it has a tremendous value for you to see how to play. Thank you for including me in your proceedings. Once again, I apologize for my Johns Hopkins degree, but hope that we can put that behind and work together. Finally, keep in mind during these sessions, in life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Al-Dafa, for those inspiring words. My name is Maram Al-Dafa, and I'm your Deputy Secretary General for this conference. I'm also the chair of the Human Rights Committee, alongside Sara Al-Misnad. If I have one word of advice to you all, it is to take full advantage of this opportunity, to grow and learn among your peers, as your MUN experiences will stay with you throughout your life. As Kofi Annan said, more than ever before in human history, we share a common destiny. We can master it only if we face it together. And that, my friends, is why we have the United Nations. Delegates and esteemed guests, we have now come to the closing of the opening ceremony. After the official declaration, please go directly to your respective committees. Delegates will be excused to dinner as a committee group. House, please come to order. I now declare the 9th Annual Georgetown Model United Nations officially open.